We are live, Martin from the Philippines. We're here in Real Talk Lifeline. So, what are we gonna do today in this live? This is a best lessons review of one of the courses I took. So, this one is called Mission to Millions. I took this back in January 2019. So, it's going on 4 years already since I've taken this course. So, this course, just some quick background context on this. This is part of the Quantum Leap program, which I invested in, the Harv Eker. So, Quantum Leap is a program that contains 5 courses. So, like this one. So, there I took Never Work Again, uh, Mission to Millions, Guerrilla Business Intensive, Train the Trainer, and then Enlightened Warrior Training Camp. So, for today, those watching the live or the replay, we're going to be learning about Mission to Millions, or how to find our life purpose and our personal mission in life. I'll just be sharing the best lessons. So I'll just try to condense all of this related to my personal journey. Maybe you might find something useful from that. This is not by any means a substitute for the course itself. I'd love to sit down with you if you ever want to go deep and process or get a feel or taste of that. These courses were not cheap when I invested in them. Quantum Leap program back in 2018, I invested around 310,000 pesos, Philippine pesos. That's around 6,000 US dollars at the time. This one, if you take this course alone, I believe it's around 70,000 pesos, or how much is that in dollars? Like a thousand, almost 1,500 US dollars, I believe. So I'll share with you my best lessons on this. Let's get to it. Those who, if you're watching the replay, most likely I already add quick notes and timestamps. So like, subscribe, love if you know what it's like to do that. Those who make videos, those watching the live, feel free to comment. This is more of storytelling. I'll be sharing my best lessons on the course I took, Mission to Millions. So let's begin. All right. So this course, this was in Johor, Malaysia, face to face. This was before the whole COVID thing. January 18 to 20, 3 days. 2019. This took place in Johor, Malaysia. So it was my first time there. Those from the Philippines, Johor, they say, is like the Cebu of Malaysia, where Kuala Lumpur, KL, is like the Manila. So really interesting place. I stayed in this bed space, like a guest house, super affordable. Again, that was very out of my comfort zone. Other people were sleeping in the hotel itself where the venue was. So, while I'm partly cheap, so I saved money, but it was also an adventure, to grow out of my comfort zone, expand. Attendees of the actual seminar itself were from different countries all over the world. So ranging from Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, Hong Kong, Australia, New Zealand, Romania, Germany, Indonesia, India, Myanmar, UK, even Russia. So it was really a mix of different countries. So I'll just share with you the best lessons that hit me, the ones I marked, so the ones I really felt, aha moments, eureka moments for me. So the first one is be open and participate 100%. So I'm not saying this as a viewer, just for you guys. I had to really write it down, as in it's really here in my notes. Like, be open, participate 100%. And I had to live that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to maximize 3 days. And, I spent a lot on this. So that was super, super helpful advice. Uh, Also, another one I put here is it's about your heart. So get in your heart, even as we go through this best lessons with me right now, without judgment and without criticism. This course was also very powerful. Out of the 5, I believe this is probably my favorite, um, or one of my favorites easily, because helps you find direction in the first place. Even if you take business seminars and the other money seminars, personally, I believe that that doesn't really matter if you don't have a mission or purpose in life, because it won't be sustainable. You won't have the fire or the drive or the north star or something in you to make you do it even. So another one I marked here: tears are a way of expressing, of processing. So there were people who did cry throughout the course, throughout the 3 days. Again, if you could attend the actual course, this is, the actual experience is incomparable. I'm just sharing with you best lessons, best parts from my eyes and my heart. So the objective was to discover why you are here, why we are here in this world. Everything has a purpose. So I also love the lead trainer, Marjean Holden. She's from the USA because she also shared uh, personal lessons that I could relate to, whether it's about relationships for her as far back as 2003, depression, anxiety, her not even being able to leave the bedroom. Uh, Maybe that was even more extreme than what I have gone through or what I am going through. So let's move forward. What are the other lessons? So there was this person I met here, and he said a line based on his own personal experience. This guy was 61 years old from the UK. He said, "The darkest moments are the ones where I change the most. I look back at them with endearment." So that was super helpful when we were doing self discovery exercises. Um, and then there's this part again, very different if you actually go through the course. If you're interested, just type deep dive. I could actually go through it with you one on one in person, because this course saved my life, or it really helped me that much. So as we were going through our strengths, skills, natural talents, one thing I noted for myself here was solving problems, and it's why you feel it's important. So I'm not here to share my answers so you could copy them. I'm here to share my life so that maybe you will see something for yourself. Like, okay, my version is not solving problems, it's doing something else. So that's your natural strength, your skill, your talent. So everyone has their own answers. So there's a difference between skill and natural talent. When you're good at something or highly skilled, the difference versus a natural talent is, even if you're a weak swimmer, but you follow your natural talent, it's like swimming with the current. So life will be flowing, it will be easier. You could be very skilled at something, but if it's not your natural talent, or it's like not for you, it's like swimming against the current. So just be aware of the difference, because some people may not have discovered their natural talent yet. So the weak swimmer wins because of the current, going with the flow. So it's not just to make it easier, it's so that you don't burn out, right? It's like the universe or God is on your side. So it's applying what another mentor taught me. Your natural talent is God's gift to you. Using them is your gift to God. So that was a best lesson that I wrote down here. So you have something, and it really helps in this course, because if I do a one-on-one with you and you don't feel like you have a natural talent, someone will see it in you. That's what happened to me when I was going through the exercise. The natural talents I have that I may or may not be using. So from there, it will evolve. Someone might tell you, hey, you're actually good at this analytical skills, you're good at problem solving, you're good at investments, you're good at something, and you didn't know that. Someone might even say, hey, you're good looking, you could pass off for a celebrity, and you didn't have that awareness because you thought like you look ugly, or you just didn't really think about it, right? So other people have high awareness. So some examples for mine, which I got feedback from other people, were natural talents. I have learning, vulnerability, being open, humor, bigay lahat. That means it's like going all out, 100%. And then another guy said, maayos ka naman. So in English, that means you're you're okay. Like you're not messed up. You have discipline or you do things properly like that, which is a compliment. That's awareness for me, because it shined light on maybe it's more of my belief system that I have to work on. So the next one, best lesson that hit me. There's this lifeboat game. So without spoiling the mechanics of that, the best lessons I got from that were you're here for a reason. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And the backstory to that was in that lifeboat game is I could have been voted out. I actually offered like another person could have my seat. So result is I would end up drowning. So they actually voted for me to live. And I didn't see that in myself. It was ironic because one guy was like the alpha or like the leader who took charge, and then I felt like I was the weak one or the missing link. So long story short, the teams that the team said that it's a good combination because even if I was the weak one who didn't know how, the leader would be able to teach me, and then we would be able to like help other people in the process. So I didn't understand it at first, but the lesson is you're here for a reason. And some people will recognize that if you can't recognize that for yourself. And all you have to reach is just one person. So again, you're getting a feel of the course. There was also a moment where I looked at a guy in that lifeboat game and I opened up about my depression and I was opening up about my self worth. And this guy from the UK, like 57 years old, he looks like a bodybuilder. Literally, like his muscles, like he looks like a bodybuilder. He looked me in the eye and then he said, "I know, I get it. I've been there." And then he shows me his wrists, and I see like fresh, deep cuts. Like, oh man, like you could tell someone got a knife and like cut deep into it. So I started tearing up. I started crying there when he said, "I get it. I've been there." Now I haven't personally. I have not slashed my own wrists like to that level. So this person who was opening up to me, wow, that really hit me like to not just to the heart, like to the soul, to the core. Because I know he wasn't fucking around. Like he wasn't bullshitting. He wasn't lying. It was real. I saw it. Next one. So there was another lesson there, which is the structure or the confines of the rules, which is society, a social construct, is different from your code of honor. So, for example, society might say you have to like pick one person and the rest will die. So, sounds familiar, right? Like a Hunger Games battle royale or Survivor type like that. But the code of honor, you could have a very different code of honor. So like my code of honor, which I would agree with later on, I learned never abandon a teammate in need. And then there's another code of honor I learned, another lesson, win win or no deal at all. So I was forced into a situation that was very win lose or potentially even like lose lose. Everyone loses, right? So you can have your own code of honor and it could be different from the social construct or the social conditioning, right? Or society's rules. So there is no conflict. We actually have both of them. It's like day and night. So we live actually in both of them. So that was another lesson or a revelation to me. Another thing I marked here, if someone could call me to get my assistance or opinion on, it would be work mentoring. So it's kind of similar. Like I took this in 2019 and now it's evolving into this. In Real Talk Lifeline, I have done deep dive calls, which is very similar. Work mentoring or mentoring, like just in life general, someone could have a problem that they feel stuck with. The deep dive call, whenever you type deep dive down below and I do a Zoom or I do a one-on-one with you, that's pretty much it. Like we're just trying to solve your problem. And sometimes you can't do it on your own. So I just listen to you first. And then maybe both of us, they call that the power of the mastermind. Maybe you or I would be able to find an insight and go, okay, that will help you. That will help me move forward. So next lesson, best lessons from Mission to Million. So here, uh, what did I wrote this line. So it was a word, Patanjali. So I'm not sure if that's Hindu, but it means on inspiration. So the next lesson I put here is miracle of life. The universe supports your living, and it was explained in a scientific sense. So, for example, the air, the oxygen, the gases, the temperature, it's actually very perfect. So, like during a very hot summer, if you end up in a desert or in a very cold place, if it's too cold, the body, like you could die, you could dehydrate, or you could go into hypothermia, like shock, you could freeze to death, right? Also, if you don't believe like the air, the oxygen, all of that is perfect, like try holding your breath, try holding my breath for like more than 1 or 2 minutes. You're gonna feel like dying, like choking, right? So if the air is not breathable, immediately we could feel like we can die, right? So the miracle of life, our body also, the parts, the design of it functioning in harmony, like the heart beating, the blood flow, any miscalculation there, the body could like have an attack, get a stroke, like it could just malfunction, right, and die. So they call that the miracle of life, right? Okay, this one's a really good lesson. This one that hit me. So if ever if ever you've encountered a kid or like grade school, high school, maybe even in college, or just someone random goes up to you and says, "What's the meaning of life?" Right? So one of those types of questions. And I actually found an answer here through this course. So what's the purpose? What's the purpose? So this one, I believe it actually came from Buckminster Fuller. So he's one of the root mentors, meaning the lead trainers. This guy's a mentor of even these mentors I look up to. So like Blair Singer. So his mentor is Buckminster Fuller. So he's a root mentor. So there are actually three. Um, if you ask what's the meaning or what's the purpose of life, Buckminster Fuller said that there are three. There are three purposes of life. So the first is to add value, and I I didn't understand this at first because it's like some people live life and then even though they don't contribute or they don't add value, you could get away with it. You still have food to eat, you get money from your family, allowance, you get support from relatives, someone like that. But the harsh reality of nature, this is actually a law of nature. So Buckminster Fuller said this line: that which does not contribute is eliminated. And he was talking about nature itself. Now, if you look at it, another mentor taught me it this way. In the office, in life, if you meet someone and they're closer to a sun, like emitting energy, they're just sending good vibes, you know, telling the truth, sharing wisdom, helping people. And then there's another person who's closer to like a black hole. So always just like sucking, taking, uh, unleashing bad or negative energy like hate, anger, can't be happy for the other person. Again, and these are things that I'm not saying uh, we're perfect, right? I'm guilty of one or both sides of this. Who would you pick, right? Who would you reward? So you would reward the son, like the person who's adding value, right? Who's making life better. Because would you reward bad behavior? Would you reward the black hole who's just taking, who's selfish, who's destructive, who's hurting other people around, or is also self destructive, right? So it's a law of nature. So, purpose of life is one, add value. Number two is to learn and grow. This one I already felt innately. Innate. So I didn't have to argue or ask for a further explanation on that. There's that saying, if you're not learning, you are dying. If you're not growing, then you're dying. And you feel it deep down inside. The third purpose of life is to enjoy. So there's a line here on this. Struggle is just effort laced with negative emotion. Now, it kind of made sense because if you put in a lot of effort and it feels good, let's say you're doing a hard workout, but it feels good, like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's working out and he loves it, right? You're running and you get runner's high, right? That's effort, but it's laced with a positive emotion. So struggle is effort laced with a negative emotion. So that's the opposite of enjoying life. So the purpose of life is add value, learn and grow, and then enjoy. So here's the next part of that formula. There are two types of purpose. So that was the purpose of life. And the second part of it is we also have a personal purpose or a mission in life. And the second part, our personal purpose or our mission in life, is different. So mine could be very different from yours. So I'm jumping ahead. Again, this is just a best lessons video. We're not necessarily doing the course, right? I'm sharing with you my best lessons ahead. So the mission I discovered for myself was to help people not give up on life. Now, in this course, in Mission to Millions, there were people with other different missions, and it ranged from like large scale, epic, amazing, like changing the world or business like that, to one of the unique ones that hit me was there was this young girl. I think she was just 14 or really young, 14 or 12 years old. And then her mission, when she shared it with the whole group, was to help homeless dogs or animals, like have a shelter. And that really was her mission, her purpose. She felt it deeply. And a part of me felt like laughing. And then the other part of me felt like, hey man, that is really her mission. So just had to learn to respect that. Like people really have very different missions or purposes in life, and that's okay. And that's real. So next, moving forward, the next best lesson that hit me, I marked here my favorite things to do now are self-development. So that's this is another reason why I'm doing this live, this best lessons with you. I love learning. Uh, I'm doing it also to fix my life and to make myself not give up. So doing this feels like it's like that defibrillator, like the thing that shocks your chest in the ambulance. Every time I do this, it feels like I'm doing that to myself every day. So maybe some of you could relate, or some of you might get more awareness, or some of you might learn something new from this, and maybe even help others in the process. Next lesson that hit me. So if you're familiar with this term, it's called dharma. So I think it's Sanskrit. It's like a Hindu term. It means your duty, something like that in life. So the best lesson here that hit me is each one of you is a piece to a puzzle, and there's something missing. And whenever you find your own piece in this world, it helps 1,000 others find theirs. So it doesn't just help them literally, it will also help other people find their own peace in this puzzle and this world when you complete yours. So that one really hit me because it's intentional, yet you could feel it. Like it's wow, like the perspective or the scale, it just hit me like really solid. Um, Another thing I put here, best lessons. My favorite topics of conversation are so this one, the hard things to talk about: depression, anxiety, suicide, life with no judgment, the truth. So maybe now you understand why Real Talk Lifeline is this way. The types of books I read or would read are self development. That uh, another thing that hit me. This is an interesting lesson. So there are two types of energy in this world, masculine and feminine. So the interesting thing that hit me here is we have both at all times. So traditionally, like as a male, like a guy growing up, I was made to think, I don't know if you other guys could relate and girls. So I should only have masculine energy. And then if you're a girl, a woman, then you only have feminine energy. So that's how I saw it growing up um, back then. So we have both at all times. And you all have your duty, and someone out there is there to receive it. So let's say I have a mix of both, and right now I have feminine energy. So when someone has masculine energy, I could receive it. I could receive it. It's a good thing. And then if someone is all masculine and they're always just like trying to give or push, but there's no one in the room who can actually let it land or receive it. There's no feminine energy. It's not gonna work. Also, like you're gonna be like just clashing or butting heads. So next lesson that hit me, the ultimate secret to happiness and fulfillment. Live your purpose. So that's what this course is all about. Why? That will give you what you are searching for externally. So eventually, the external will manifest or happen while you're living your purpose. So you are important, or you would not be here. And living your purpose is proof of that. So if I had to teach something, I would want to teach, I mark this one, how to help others fix their life. So that's what I'm trying to do. Not just for others, for myself as well. Joy and meaning. What gives me joy and meaning? Helping people, making a person smile, give another person hope, mentoring. With these activities, I lose track of time learning. So if it's not obvious, that's what we're doing right now. And so I don't run out of voice. Ah, all right. So I'm blitzing like through my whole notes of this. I just want to give everything in as fast or as straight up as possible. So next big lesson, that best lesson that hit me. This person gave feedback to me, and when this person made me realize this lesson, when you say I am enough, or you say an affirmation to yourself, you have to feel it. So this was a challenge for me because there are times when someone says something to me or I say something, I don't feel it. So they call that dissonance, right? It doesn't match, right? It's not congruent. But there are times wherein I say something or someone says something to me. I'll give a super random example. So one of the best compliments I received, and I'm not good at receiving compliments. At the office, someone said this when they were giving feedback. Of all the ones that hit me, this person said, mukhang mabango. So what that means is like, you look like you smell good. For some reason, that compliment, I felt it. it landed, and I still remember it until now. I know it's true because I put a lot of effort. Like when I take a shower or a full bath, 30 minutes, I really go thorough. So I know it's true for myself. I just didn't realize anyone would actually recognize that. So I really felt that's an example of me really feeling it when someone says something. So that's a lesson on that. Next one, what makes me feel great about myself? Flow state. So actually I feel like I believe I'm doing it now. Flow state is it's like the balance between ability and challenge. It's also the state where I'm not thinking, I'm not stuck in my head. And normally I'm an overthinker. So right now I'm just flowing and I really feel good. I really feel great. Whether people are watching live or not, like people are gonna watch the replay, I still feel good. I feel great doing this. What really excites me is finding answers. So that was my answer, my best lesson on this. This is why I'm doing Real Talk Lifeline again. It Imagine if you had a magic 8 ball and or like you could ask any question and then you would get an answer to it. That's like when you join Real Talk Lifeline. Like, what's your biggest challenge in life right now? So, if you dare to ask that question, you might get an answer. And that's what I love. I love finding answers. So I love it when you find your answer. That excites me. So there's also a distinction here between pleasure and joy. So I wrote this in my notes. So pleasure, I believe that's a little obvious. Pleasure is like uh it's like some instant gratification, like it felt good physically. I ate chocolate, it tasted good, like that, right? It felt good. Joy in the heart is something deeper. So this is a distinction that was important because someone said or made me realize even when you're going through depression, anxiety, or suffering, you could experience joy. So out of the years from 2019 to now, because I went through stuff like a year ago, or that was in November 2021, I started doing ice baths with the help of a friend I reconnected with. So when you enter that cold water, that ice water, you really feel suffering. But there's a moment where you could actually turn it into joy. So one part is appreciation, but another part is when you do something that visceral. It's not just doing a gratitude list or saying I'm grateful for something. You really feel it in your body. So that's the difference of joy versus pleasure. That was a very good lesson that hit me. Parts of my past work that have been the most enjoyable are I marked here as a best lesson getting my hands dirty, elbows in the mud. So, yeah, I love immersion. I do love mentors also. So, I realize the value of a good mentor because when you try to do something all by yourself, so quick example, because I'm into it. Imagine if you were afraid of guns and you had no idea how to use it safely, and your bright idea is to just pick up a gun and figure it out on your own. I This is just my personal experience. Maybe that's not the best idea because you could shoot yourself in the face, or someone, right? You could end up killing yourself or someone accidentally. So I realized the value also of mentors, guides, trainers, someone who could help me get through it while doing the immersion. So back then, I started teaching gun classes before I got into personal development in 2018, like live seminars. I didn't know I was kind of doing it already, teaching gun safety, gun basics to these first timers or people like that. So getting the hands dirty, hands on, experiencing it for themselves, but guided with a trusted mentor, teacher, someone there who could help them get through it without them killing themselves. I say that literally because I work with guns. So, you know, Maybe it might be figurative for you, might be literal also, in your own field. So the next best lesson that hit me, it's what's in your heart. We're here to pay attention to those things. So I'm connecting the dots backwards. So I started training with life coaching. I believe I took my first like life coaching seminar back in 2019 also. Local coach, Coach Bam, when I did Unbounded. And when you pay attention to the heart, to those things, he calls that be with. So I come from like Myers Briggs, MBTI, introvert thinker, INTJ, very left brain, very scientific. So the other side, the heart space, we can actually learn to pay attention to those things. And here's another distinction though I'm learning, because when I meet high level mentors, they have higher level of awareness. They'll make me see things that I didn't see before. So one example is high emotion is not necessarily the same as high empathy. So a person could be highly emotional, crying, going hysterical, but they don't care about you. Like they can't relate. They can't put themselves in your suffering where you are. So you could learn that, like it's in your heart. You could actually learn to pay attention to those things. And I've been trying to learn that over the past years already. It's been 3 years plus already, intentionally learning those things. And this is coming from someone growing up with low self-esteem, low self-worth, like not having much awareness on those things. So maybe there's hope, like for you guys who feel like I don't think I can learn that. Man, I'm telling you, I got a long way to go, but I'm happy to even just learn 1% of it, which is what I'm sharing with you. And then, hey, we could get up to 100 one day. So we were learning also how to make our own blueprint for life. Um, So one big thing here, this is one really helpful guide question. You can just ask this one big question. So over here, how can you help? Again, this course is about our life purpose or our personal mission. So when I ask myself, how can I help? My mind starts to open up. I can go, hey, maybe I can help in this way. And don't limit yourself. Sometimes it might sound crazy. Like I had thoughts of like becoming a freaking like a gigolo or what do you call that, high class male companion. I go, okay, I like sex, so what could I do? Could I sell my body like that? So you learn eventually to like maybe that's partly creative, or maybe that might not necessarily align with your values, or you have to learn in a more creative or a different way of integrating that, of how you could help people. So help people responsibly. So it's not to hurt or destroy their life, it's to really help them, right? So encourage other people. What I wrote here was encourage other people to not give up on life. So you'll also see later why I wrote it that way. So I'll jump ahead quick and go back. Is one of the hints of your mission or your purpose in life is that it also heals your own wounds. So I want I wrote that down because I wish somebody did that for me. Now, if no one is doing that, then perfect. Like I'm gonna do it for myself first. If it helps anyone else, then that's a bonus. It's good. And then maybe you discover that really is your mission, your purpose in life. Oh, I didn't realize. So the lead trainer, Marjean Holden, one of her favorite picks or books is The Game of Life and How to Play It. This is really interesting because I found the audio book just maybe 1 year ago and started listening to it. And Florence Scovel Shinn, the author, the audiobook is a female narrator. I was a guy, I was thinking, I don't know if I would like this, right? The whole feminine or like woman side, the touch. I really liked it. I've listened to that audiobook two at least two times full, because that's like 2 or 3 hours long. I think maybe even more. So ironic, like how I wrote this in 2019, and then just a year ago, I started listening to it, and it's really good. It's actually a really good one. So next, um, so I won't again, just for the sake of time. There's a lot of notes here. I'm just sharing the ones that hit me and I marked, right, the best lessons. So there are guidelines on how to know what your mission is and if it really is your mission. So one thing I marked here is your mission does not have to be huge and monumental. It could be small. Your mission is your mission. And I cited that example earlier, wherein that young girl, 12 years old or 14, her mission was to help homeless dogs, like homeless animals find a shelter. So it doesn't matter. Like that her mission is her mission. My mission is my mission. If your mission is huge, like Elon Musk, let's say he wants to, launch a spaceship to Mars and then, do, start life. Like what do they call that? Extraterrestrial, like life on a different planet, like that. That's his mission, right? It could be that monumental, but it's his mission. It really is his. It doesn't matter. Your mission is your mission. So the lead trainer, I could relate. So she shared something December 2012. So and she had an anxiety attack. It wasn't a heart attack. She was down and out for 2 years. Could barely get out of bed. Um, and it was that hard for her. The embarrassment, weakness, everything she felt. And by the way, she's like this tall, strong woman who is an actress. So imagine like her going through that. And then she said, "How long will it last? I don't know. But if I resist, it will persist unless I allow it and let it through." That gave me a lot of peace, I guess, because what I'm going through, what I went through, I felt like I wasn't crazy, like I wasn't alone. So that was really helpful. Like I just wrote that down because that part really hit me. So next best lesson that hit me. Your mission should excite you and it should ignite you for or against something. It should bring you great joy and it should not feel like a burden. So maybe this is proof, like doing this live right now, Real Talk Lifeline. It excites me to share this, my best lessons from this course. I know how much I invested in it, not just money wise, the time, the effort. Like it took me, I had to fly on my own to Johor, Malaysia. I had to figure it out on my own doing this, kind of like a rite of passage. I mean, living with my parents and then just suddenly doing that on my own. Didn't know how much I spent my life savings like on that. It did bring me great joy. Whether one person is watching this live, the replay, or like 100 or 1,000, or maybe one day 1,000,000, for all I know, it still excites me. It makes me happy, right? So for or against something. So for this, I want to find answers against the depression, I guess, against giving up on life. So I don't want that. Next best lesson. Your mission has nothing to do with money. Really interesting. Money will come in later. So this is something I've been testing since 2019. So I would personally say just very transparent, very open. I'm in the process. There are other people like T. Harv Eker who designed the course, right? This guy, when he started with his own mission, when he was almost broke, that's why he made the whole Millionaire Mind Intensive. He said that prayer, right, to the universe, to God. Like if you if you help me figure this out, I promise I would help other people. So that's his mission. The money followed later on. So, next best lesson, you may already be living your mission. So, some people, you're already doing it. So, this course will just give you awareness and make you realize, hey, I've been doing it all along. And that's a good feeling, right? To have awareness, or to be mindful, to be intentional. And it's not like living life by an accident, right? Not even knowing that you were doing it, right? So to recognize that, that's what we're here for. Next one, again, I'm just going through the ones that really hit me. We had this exercise wherein we had to ask our spirit, what am I here to do? Really interesting. So my answer, I'm still trying to figure this out. Be still, share yourself, and learn. So these answers just came from within, and again, they felt very different. Some people, you could almost tell or feel that the answer isn't from me. Like in an office or work or in the family, when they say what's your answer, it's like writing down an answer that someone else expected for them. So this spirit writing exercise is interesting, like for those answers to just surface and come up for me. So next lesson. Okay, so this one, ask yourself these questions. This will help guide you with your mission statement. So this one, ask yourself, one, is your mission a projection of yourself? Meaning, is this what I want for me? And then number two, just these two questions. Does your mission help heal your own wounds? So if your answer is yes, yes to both, then this is a good indication that you're on the right path. So, one, is this what I want for me? My mission statement is to help people not give up on life. So, is this what I want for me? Number one. Check. Yeah. Because every day it's hard. It feels hard to just get out of bed. So, you could imagine how hard it is for me to do this live, right? So, it's like public, live, um, no edits, you know. So, public speaking. So I have a hard time just getting out of bed, right? So yes, I want this for myself. I don't want to give up. Number two, does your mission help heal your own wounds? Yes. So that's what I want. I want to heal my depression. So again, going through this course, you'll have your own process. You could message down below, those watching the live or the replay. I actually sat down with a friend. I went through this course, like a debrief. I spent, I think it was 3 to 5 hours. And if you notice my voice drying out already, that's what it was like. And it's more intense when you're there face to face exchanging, right? So, next best lesson, your mission will bring your meaning, your vision will bring you your money. So, your mission is, again, your purpose, right? Your vision is your vehicle. So, how am I going to deliver it? The vehicle is the vision, and it can be done through a lot of ways. It could be through this live, it could be by being a speaker, setting up a school, create a training company, do videos online, do a workshop, something that feels good to you. So that vision will be the magnet for money, for that, right? The external to come to you. And there's a vision, uh, the revision exercises through the course. So the next best lesson that hit me. Did you find anything that surprised you so far, like in the sharing of best lessons? Did you find anything that surprised you? So yeah, maybe it was something earlier, maybe it's right now, right? Even that question. So that's why we're here. That's why we're doing the course, right? So to those moments. So there was another lesson here, next best lesson. When it comes to your vision, your passion, your commitment, there are two things to watch out for. So one is it's like a warning, like a heads up. One is called ladder against the wrong wall syndrome. So what does that mean? You put up the ladder, you keep climbing up, right? And you keep going higher and higher and higher. And the person falls into the trap wherein they say, I'm already so high, I don't want to go down, I might fall, I'm climbing up the ladder, whatever it is, corporate business, job ladder like that. But you might be up against the wrong wall. This is actually very relatable. So personal example, like 8 years in the life insurance industry, and I had good years in my first, I had good years over the years. The last 3 years, I guess, I've been contemplating, which is why I started my personal development, my journey investing in myself like that. Am I up against the right wall for me, right? The right direction, the right, you know, destination or destiny for me, right? So be aware of that. The other is called means to an end syndrome. So it's like you're just doing it, right? It's like a means to an end. Like I'll just do it for the money, like that. Well, I'll take this shady job or do this thing I don't really want to do, so I can get some money or like a means to an end. So that syndrome is also another trap. So just be aware of that. Again, mission to millions is also, it flows not just into, you know, purpose, feeling, all that. It ends up being our life path. Could be our career, our work, you know, what we do for the rest of our life. So another best lesson that hit me is either I'm gonna get what I want or I'm going to get what I don't want. So there are two possible outcomes, and both take energy. So if someone is, for example, let me give a live example right now. Right now, I could be doing something else, right? I could be like looking up for, let me try work in a call center, something like that. And nothing against call centers or that work. I know people who have gone there, gained experience. I've heard other stories as well, which are interesting. So the key here is, do you want to do it? If you're doing something and you don't want to do it, it's also taking up your energy, your time. And personally, what I experience is the feeling ends up in anxiety. Imagine feeling doing something and you don't want to do it and you're still doing it. So that's the feeling. It will end up that way. Or I'm going to get or do what I want, which is what I'm doing right now. So, next best lesson, is there a person or company whose mission or vision excites you? So mine, over the years, I mentioned life insurance industry. That was since 2014 to now. So in 2016, I discovered something called MDRT, the Million Dollar Roundtable, and one of their mission or vision, it's like a, it's like one of their quotable quotes or lines that they live by is, if you have grown because of someone, let someone grow because of you. And I personally experienced that because the MDRT, Million Dollar Round Table, the best people, they help, they really helped me. Back in 2016, when I hit my first, that was the year when I qualified for the first time. There was one person from a competitor company, and she helped me. So imagine that. Doesn't make sense, right? But that's their culture. And they do it because somebody else helped them in the first place. And I love that. I love that core value. So it bled down to me in a very good way, which is why I love doing this. So, next best lesson, here's a guideline. Your vision can change the vehicle. So maybe my vehicle is reaching out to you through this live. Another vehicle for me is we could do a face-to-face workshop, and I'm gonna have like the flip chart, like the paper with the markers like that. So the vehicle can change. It can be done in different ways, right? Your mission usually does not change. So here's another hint. Your mission will never be complete. You do it until you die. In fact, your mission is so big that you won't be able to complete it in your lifetime. Other people in the next generation or legacy will carry it on. So that's the difference of a mission. So this is the next best lesson. So on vision, some people ask this: what is it? So instead of asking what is it, why not ask what's next? So let's say somebody already completed their vision. Maybe their vision was to come up with their own company, like that, right? Like their own training company, their own school, their own, like that, their own project, and they did it. And some people keep trying to figure out what is it, what is it, what is it. A better question to ask is, why don't you ask what's next? You already did that, you completed it. So what's next? That also hit me. So, for example, when I started this personal sharing, Gun Basics Philippines, around 2014, when I started having my first uh, students joining that class, so teaching gun safety, introduction to guns, I had to design the whole course behind the scenes, right? And then after some number of years, 2018 and 2019, I got into personal development. So here with the Eker, and then 2018 to 19, 2020, I got into Tony Robbins, like that. So it's not what is it, what I'm learning is it's what's next. And for people who may not get it yet, and there are people ahead of me, I'm just sharing where I'm at. Those lessons actually connect or tie in together with the other visions in the past. Who says I can't apply all these lessons I'm learning, this level of awareness, all of these tools I'm learning about being a trainer, learning about life purpose and all, when I teach gun classes all over again? So they actually connect with each other in a good way. So don't wait for the perfect vision to arise. Adjust next version and then do it again. So there's a saying as part of the training. They call it ready, fire, aim. So again, some people might say, "Are you crazy? Like you have to aim first before firing. You teach guns." I get that side. So what ready, fire, aim means is I go on this live and I'm sharing with you the best way I could. So there's never gonna be a perfect version. And if I wait for that, I'm never gonna hit the live button. I'm never gonna do this, right? So ready, fire, aim in a good sense means this, right? So what's next? What's your next version? So another lesson that hit me, this one. Let's see if I could uh, show this visually. This is like how success is. Some people think success is a straight line here. People think that success is a straight line. Now, success is more like that, like the red one. So, success, like I would think, hey, 2014, 2015 was hard, bloody year. 2016, oh, I do $1 million round table. 2017, $1 million round table. 2018, oh, I really pushed it to December, I do $1 million round table. People think that success is just gonna be like that. Like, okay, every year qualify like that. So I'm here to share. I'm a living example that 2019 it's like what the hell happened, right? So it's like a drop almost down back to zero or the starting point. So there is no straight line to success. The pathway to success is one step at a time. By the way, on those lines, there are some people who even go below like the starting point. So that's like rock bottom or below. And some of you may have personally experienced that. I'm just openly sharing with you my own personal experience. So next best lesson. So some people, I'll just read the line that hit me. I realized that I was the puzzle that needed to happen all along. So sometimes you might see this or feel this. Have you ever had a moment wherein you were the reason why it happened for someone else? Like you were the reason why that moment completed. If you weren't there, it wouldn't have happened. It could be literal, like you could be an event organizer, you let this person's wedding happen, or in work something like that, or it can be more subtle than that. Maybe if you weren't there, like the relationship with your father might never have happened. With your family, like if you grew up in a family wherein your father is just a man of few words and he never really opens up, as in really opens up, not like how's school, how's work, like that, right? Maybe you were the puzzle all along that needed to happen. Otherwise, it never would have happened. So it could be anything. It could be among your family, your friends, your work, like that. So next lesson, best lesson, clean out all my limiting beliefs. So what are these? They could be inner child wounds. They could be masculine, feminine wounds. So the stereotypical, like the man who always has to be all like, oh, oh, macho, like that, but then never opened up or discovered the feminine side. So what's that? It's the side that would listen, nurture, um, feel, feel more, like that. So clean all out my limiting beliefs, and then move move on from there. So next best lesson, focus. So all engines firing toward your goal. So that's what focus is. Right now, actually, that's what I'm doing too. Phones on silent, turn off the Wi-Fi, turn off the data. Uh, I'm just firing all my engines, all my effort into this live right now to get you the best lessons as clear or as intentional as possible. Number two, yet remember there's focus. Remember also balance. So both are actually needed. If I was so focused on just doing this, I forget to eat my dinner or take care of myself, then that's not balance, right? Again, it could also be like working to earn money, but then not spending time with family or nurturing the other sides aspects of me. Aside from money, right? The mind, there's also my body, my physical health. There's also my heart, my relationships with other people. There's also my spirit, right? My soul. So remember to balance. Next best lesson. This was a very interesting insight I got from the lead trainer. CEOs, where do they go? The process, restoration, recharge. So again, your mission, your vision could be coaching. It could be being a trainer, right? And then in the process of that, remember the vision, right? It could change. Suddenly, you could see CEOs, very high level people, which you have had access to, you have experienced, and then you can actually offer your mission, your alignment, your vision, and then you can help them. You can help them process, restore, recharge, doing what we're doing, right? So it doesn't mean your mission is only going to reach low income people necessarily, or it could, but it reaches a lot, like a lot, high volume, or you help a lot of people, which is also good. Okay, so next best lesson. I think we're near the end. So there were lessons also on time management, people talking about their mission, their purpose, and life like that, translating it into money, to millions like that, people and financially as well. One of the tips here on time management was the calendar. So this one I learned more recent years, especially when I started work as a life insurance agent when you do sales. So a calendar helps you be more free. Now you could use the calendar app on your phone because back in the day people used the handwritten one, right? It's to streamline your energy so nothing is wasted. Personal sharing. Today, for example, calendar. So 9 a.m. I go to Makati. I go to the office. So it's like 9:30 to 12. I have something to do there. It's set. So I get up. I had awareness to sleep around 11, 12 p.m. 11 p.m. So if I did the live last night, imagine waking up at 6 a.m. with no sleep and then attending like 3 hours of in the office, and I'd be driving a car too. So it's like they call that set up the fail, right? So the calendar actually helps you be more free. I did I'm doing this live after the my appointment in the morning in the office. So I got energy too. I had like a cup of coffee there. I got took care of my needs. I had a good meal. So nothing is wasted. So the opposite, set up to win, right? Set yourself up for success. So that's what we're doing with a 1 day, 7 day, 30 day, and 1 year action plan. You could actually plot it down in your calendar, your app, and they're like milestones or things to look forward to. And by the way, this is much more fun, believe me, than putting January 31, deadline of BIR 0605 annual registration fee. I mean, are you looking forward to that, right? Might as well put something that's aligned with your mission or your vision, right? And then it excites you, something that you could accomplish. Next best lesson. T. Harv Eker, he has this term, it's called MINDFRICK. So MINDFRICK, what does that stand for? Mind friction, right? Or you sometimes you know what that means also, right? This is like the voice in your head. T. Harv Eker would also call it your reptilian brain or your protective mind. Some people would call it the ego. Um, it's your survival mechanism, right? So what does this sound like? I'm tired. I don't know how. I'm busy. I'm not qualified. No money, no resources. I have too many cats. What will my wife say? What if I'm left with nothing? So, mind frick can also sound extreme or in different words. I just want the pain to stop. I'm foobar, like fucked up beyond return, right? I feel like damaged goods. Why do I hate myself? Why is my mind trying to kill me? I don't know what to do. So the mind thinks that way because it constantly looks for what's wrong or what could go wrong. So back then I thought I was crazy. Like, am I the only one who thinks like this by default? The reason why the mind does that is to protect yourself. So its main objective is survival. It's just to protect yourself, right? Some people would say on a maybe a level above, it's to be comfortable. to be secure, to be safe, right? So the challenge of that is it's very fear based, meaning we can have all the comfort, we can survive, but that's not really living, right? We're not growing, we're not fulfilling the higher needs of a person, like growth, contribution, like that. So a lot of people, that story, all these thoughts ends up holding us back, myself included. So this is why this mind frick, this part is a very key lesson here. So how do we overcome it? So the secret is, again, we're talking about mission and vision. Focus on that. Focus on the vision. Choose your vision over your story. Wow, now this is hitting me. So this is very in the moment. Right behind me is my vision board. There you go. So I made that, I believe, back in 2015 or 2016. And it was kind of sad if you hear this. Back in 2015, my manager asked me to make a vision board, and I thought to myself, she's like, "What are your dreams? What's your vision?" And when I started, my initial answer was, "I don't have any." So maybe some of you can relate, or some of you who really get this. That's kind of sad, right? You go, if you don't. I learned this later on in more recent years. Steve Harvey, so again, the talk show host, the celebrity, right? He hosted Miss Universe, Steve Harvey. So he said it's even in the Bible, and it says, "A man without a vision will perish." So I'm connecting this to like uh, other lessons, deeper lessons from other trainings and mentors after this 2019 course. Our default is the mind frick. It's the negative thoughts. And no one ever told me this. If I go to the office and then I go, "Hey guys, is your default thinking negative?" No one is going to answer me or you. In my personal experience of 35 years of living, no one ever admitted that. Not among my friends, my family. No one ever said that to me, that their default way of thinking was negative. So I'll be the first to admit, if no one ever told you that, that is my default. And by default, I see everything that could go wrong. So the secret here is to focus on your vision over your story. The story meaning is the default, it's the mind frick, it's those thoughts. And then the key is commitment, and you do whatever it takes. So a very helpful tool that I'm just integrating with this Mission to Millions course is when you have a vision board that's like literal illustration board. You could do it whatever way. Wallpaper if your phone, your laptop, your iPad, anything. When you set up your environment, design it that way, and then you constantly choose consistency, right, over intensity. You constantly choose your vision, then your life starts to change. The default thoughts in the head start to shift. They start to become more positive, or they start to become more like your vision, whatever you wanted to think. So next, I think we're getting near the end already. Okay, I'm just sharing the best lessons that are hitting me. So quick hit here: learn by doing. So when I share this, let me apply it right now. Try it yourself. Whatever the lessons you're learning here, learn by doing. Try making your own vision board yourself. If you want an idea, check out my profile on Facebook. My name is right there, right? How do I? My name is right there. And when you find my profile, it's public. Just look at my cover photo. So that's an example of what a dream board, a vision board looks like. So learn by doing. Don't just like listen, like test it. Be curious, be like a scientist. Don't just believe me, right? Test it if it's true. And I normally don't like sharing bullshit. So again, just test it if it's true. Next lesson that hit me because it was so fun. So another way of letting the lessons land is we don't learn by information only, but there's also emotion attached to it. So when the process becomes fun, again, I'm just sharing based on my personal experience. If you take like that introduction to guns class and you find out guns, right, they're deadly weapons, tools, they could kill a person. Have you ever seen someone use a gun and they actually had fun at the end of the day? And I have seen people like that. And I designed that course that way, not just to have fun, but you do it in a safe way. Now, why is it important to have fun? That's how the lesson sticks, right? So, just like this live, like make it fun. Watching the replay, type a comment, right? Test it, make it fun. So, what are other best lessons here that are hitting me? I'm gonna be blitzing through all this. Other choruses. See, I see Tony Robbins, the Harv Eker. Okay. Okay, here's another one. So next best lesson: use it or lose it. So there was this lesson demonstrated in a funny way. So there was a banana that was brought out on day one. This is a 3 day course, and the banana was peeled, and that banana was just left there to on the table for those days. So on the last day, third day, the banana you could guess already was like starting to rot. So what did that mean? What was that demonstration for? When not used for its purpose, it will rot. So that's how the soul is. That's how the body is. And I started to feel this over the days. So let's say I don't do this live and I just sleep all day, right? And people might think, wow, that feels good. Set up. They're like, oh yeah, like you're just sleeping all day. I have found that's not true. Like your brain will start to rot. Like it'll start to feel moldy if you're not utilizing it. You're not exercising it, right? You're not doing this. You're not sharing the lessons or learning, right? Or just going all out in any way, heart, mind, physical, right? It will rot. Your body, your mind, your heart, your soul will rot if it's not used for its purpose. So, statistically, you could look that up. Like men who retire a few years after, they end up dying. When they don't have a sense of purpose, their mind will degenerate. They get Alzheimer's, dementia. Their body starts to weaken. It atrophies. Like if you don't exercise, your muscles start to eat itself, right? You get skinny, unhealthy like that. You get weak, and then your soul, you can imagine, right? You could feel it die. So use it or lose it. Another tip here: review your mission and vision every day. So maybe you're also seeing why I'm doing this live now and why I shared it that openly. And what every time you review it, your mission, your vision, you remember why you're here. So again, like if you're curious, type deep dive. Like if you really want to go through, hey, I want to go through the process, I want to learn. I did it with one of my friends. So if it would really help, you really feel like you need that, I would. I would do it for you. How could I not? Next best lesson that hit me: should is an illusion. Should, meaning I should do this, I should do that, right? Should is a stick we use to beat ourselves up and others, and should does not exist. It leads to a lack of self trust, self betrayal. And here's the challenge: we're conditioned to should. Oh, you should do this, you should take this course, you should become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. You should, right? But what's the lesson I learned here? What should be, instead of thinking that way, why not think of what is? What is? That's what it is, right? I'm here. That's what it is. I'm doing this, right? So sometimes we need to go through it to see. And then when we let it be what it is, like right now, just embrace it, we end up growing, we end up learning. So what else here? I got going through this. I wrote my vision 3 to 5 years. The freaky thing is, I reviewed this vision 3 to 5 years ago, and although not everything word for word could like did it come true, surprisingly a lot did. Why don't I read it? It's not that long, right? Why don't I read it? Here's my vision 3 to 5 years. So I did this. I wrote this January 19, 2019. So this is a live sharing. It is January 19, 2022. It has been 2 years since I took a quantum leap of faith. The progress in my healing has been amazing. The depression, the heaviness, losing the will to live feels like a mere shadow and nostalgic memory of what it once was. Maybe Anthony was right. The darkest moments are the ones where I change the most. I look back at them with endearment. I knew in my heart of hearts this was the right thing to do. The only thing to do, like in MDRT's whole person concept. One part of our life affects all the others. My healing has made me a much happier person. This great experience has given me great strength. It allowed me to move more freely, struggle no more, and achieve greater heights, such as court of the table and top of the table. I now make MDRTs as well. So just to clarify, so I've not done court of the table, top of the table. I have out of 10 MDRT mentees, I have had one successful um, $1 million round table mentee. So that's true. My income increased 3 times, even 6 times over the years. I'm waiting for that to happen. Yeah. Or did it? Oh, okay, so waiting for that to happen. And the greatest, the peace of mind and true happiness, fulfillment, and that will to live have been my greatest achievements. Now I help others who went through what I did by sharing my story to give them hope and to actually be there by their side as they walk through their journey. So didn't expect that last part. So that's me reading it all over again after years. So I guess the ender, to end my best lessons, Mission to Millions, we wrote a vision. So I'll share it. These are last two like drawings I made. So this one, I drew a vision, and I'll just kind of quickly explain what it means. So self development, me in the middle, healing. When I took this, I wrote down the 5 quantum leap courses, and they're not easy to commit to. So I never work again. I did that. I believe that was like November 2018. Mission to Millions was January 2019. So I only did two so far out of the 5. I wrote down the remaining 3 courses. So I did them. So I finished what I started. Um, what else? The money jars. So I do that to this day. Ever since 2018, I've been doing that. Freedom, I guess I'm still working on that goal, financial freedom. Passions, I have done motorcycle guns. I have not rode a plane to the edge of space yet. So not all of them I have done, but some of them, or maybe you could say a lot, I actually have. I have done. So if you write it down, man, maybe it really does come true. So the last thing I wrote here was this one in our exercise. So that's my mission. So I wrote this down back in 2019. So to end my best lessons, I met a couple from Iloilo. So they're from the Philippines, and their key best lesson they shared with me was this: keep learning. So you're still gonna go through a lot in life. Because imagine this, it's the ender. Imagine your life story was, I got rich. That's it. And that hit me. I was like, yeah, I mean, like, is that it? Right? So it's like, oh, my life is done. I'm good already. So maybe that is part of our mission or purpose in life to go through. So those are my best lessons. Guys, I'm gonna go through this video again. Those watching the live or the replay, again, give it a like, subscribe. I'm gonna go through this again. I'm gonna make the quick notes. I'm gonna timestamp it so it's easier for you to find the parts. You could skip to them. Thank you for watching. Type deep dive down below if there's more that you want. Maybe you want to go through the course, right? Maybe you want to say, hey, I want to find my purpose, my mission in life, and I want to go deeper. Like your best lessons was just a teaser for you. So I've done this with one of my friends, and it helped him. So thank you. I love you, and I will see you next time.